All right, everybody, how you doing? Today I want to talk about cabinets and the terminology associated with cabinets, the vocabulary, parts of a cabinet, things you should know when you look at cabinets, and if you ever get into building any of them, some of the basic stuff you're going to need to know. All right. So, the most common thing, the thing that pretty much everybody can relate to in their life is having some kitchen cabinets. And as far as woodworking goes, aside from the house that's built around you, the most common thing related to woodworking is going to be some kind of cabinetry. And we have kitchen cabinets, you have bathroom vanities, those are all cabinets, right? So that's the most common thing, the most popular thing to get changed in your house. And want to talk about some of the vocabulary associated with that today. All right, so this is a basic kitchen cabinet layout. And if you look over here, we have cabinets that are mounted on the wall, and they're called wall cabinets. Okay, you see these all up here. And then down at the bottom here, where the sink and the appliances are, those are referred to as base cabinets or bottom cabinets. Some people call them upper cabinets and lower cabinets. That's fine too, but technically we're looking at wall cabinets and base cabinets. Okay, this is a real nice fancy kitchen setup here. Looks like a display model. All right, lots of different options here for all the different kind of cabinets. Okay, it's real complicated. Lots of options. Here's real basic on the right hand side here. This is something you could probably buy at Home Depot. These are just the most bottom end or low end cabinets that you can get. Probably have to stain them or paint them yourself. But you got your uppers and your lowers, the base cabinets, the wall cabinets. Okay, so that's your basic kitchen layout. Everybody's kitchens, different sizes, different setups. You got to set up your cabinets to fit your kitchen. Okay, that's basically what you're looking at when we talk about basic cabinets, uppers and lowers. All right, so if we look at the construction of a base cabinet, okay, a base cabinet is going to be on the floor. Okay, and it's going to either have a countertop on top of it, might have a sink in it, might have a stove top put on top of it. But this is your basic build of a cabinet. There's so many different ways to put cabinets together, but this is really a very generic, very common way of putting a cabinet together. We talked about in class that a cabinet is really just a box. So it's a variation on a simple box. Okay, and if we look at that, we've got our right and left side here. Okay, we got our bottom. We get these two things up top called stretchers. What they do is they put these pieces of wood across the top instead of a solid piece of plywood going across the top here to save materials, make things a little easier to put together. They just put these little narrower pieces of wood called stretchers across, and that'll hold the cabinet together. Okay, you're going to have a shelf, most likely. You have the bottom of the cabinet, and then if you see down here, it's called the toe kick if you look at the bottom here. So what happens with base cabinets, and if you look in your house, you have a little spot that's going to be lower down here on the base of the cabinet. That's where your feet are going to hit the cabinet if there wasn't this little recessed area, and they call that the toe kick. Okay, so that's something I want you to remember vocabulary-wise, is this is the toe kick area, and that's really just space for your feet, kind of what the word implies. It's a toe kick, all right? That's a typical characteristic of a base cabinet. 99% of them are going to have that. Some won't, but bathroom vanities may or may not have it, may have different styles of them, but that's your base cabinet right there. So back here is, say, what we call a nailer, and that's just another piece of wood. You got top and bottom here, nailers. That's what is going to be fastened to the wall. That's what's going to help your cabinet be attached and stay solid to the wall. It's a solid piece of wood attached to the cabinet. And they call it a nailer because back in the day, they used to just nail these things right to the wall. Nowadays, we use screws, but they call that a nailer, and it's a nice sturdy part of the cabinet to fasten to the wall. Back here, the back is just usually, in most cabinets today, is a very thin piece of plywood, probably 1/4 inch, 3/16 of an inch plywood in the back that just kind of seals up the back of the cabinet. So you wouldn't want to just nail right through that. The cabinet wouldn't stay on the wall. You need something really stable and strong like this nailer to hold it to the wall. Okay, but this is your basic base cabinet. Like I said, there's lots of ways to build them, but this is probably the most common way to build a base cabinet. There's a wall cabinet, okay, similar with a couple differences. Notice there's no toe kick. Okay, you'll notice at the bottom of the drawing here, it's just pretty much a flat box, or not a flat box, it's a 3D box, but there's not a lot to it. It's got right side, left side, it's got the back again, bottom, top. Okay, it's just like a plain box, couple adjustable shelves that you're going to have. You know, you might have some other options in there. Again, we have our nailers, top and bottom. That's going to help us fasten it to the wall. Make sure that's nice and sturdy and they stay up. They don't fall down after you load them all up with your plates and stuff. Okay, but that's your typical wall cabinet. All right, no toe kick at the bottom, and those come in usually come in lots of different shapes and sizes and all different options too. This one's a really plain, basic wall cabinet. Okay. All right, so cabinet construction types. There's two general construction types when we're talking about cabinets. Okay, they're called face frame construction, which we have here on the left-hand side, and frameless construction, which we have here on the right, also known as a European style cabinet. Okay, so you can see highlighted here what the basic difference in construction is. The face frame cabinet, or the more American style cabinet, the front of the cabinet is there's a frame or a face frame here that's fastened to the front of the cabinet. And it's got a couple different functions. The main function is that mostly cabinets are going to be made out of plywood. These sides on the left and right sides are going to be made out of plywood. And we know from class that it's not really attractive when you see the edge of a piece of plywood. So an easy way to cover it up and make it look nice is we attach this face frame, and usually a solid hardwood, and, you know, or maybe it's painted, but that covers up that plywood edge and kind of gives us, you know, strength and structure to the cabinet. But that's the finished look of the cabinet there. And then we put drawers or door fronts on, and those can be all kind of different styles there. Okay. The difference with the frameless cabinet here is that the edge of the plywood is not really covered up. It'll be covered up with a laminate or a thin piece or a veneer. We talked about veneers in class to cover up the plywood edge, but that's it. It's pretty much just the thickness of the plywood you're going to see there. And then they're going to install a drawer or doors, just like in a face frame cabinet, but they have to be done in a little different way because you don't have this big face frame here. Okay, so it's just really the edge of the plywood, and it's veneered or laminated in an attractive way so that it doesn't look like plywood. And this is a frameless cabinet box. Now, in a way, when you're producing lots of cabinets, this uses less materials. Okay, it's easier to make, less materials, less steps. So it's a cheaper cabinet to make. It's still strong, it's still a good cabinet. Okay, it's just a different style. You also see a little bit of a difference here. You might see cabinets that are made with these triangle pieces in the corner to hold it square. They're not going to have the stretchers or the stringers that go across. Okay, they'll just have these corners. You'll also see that. That works. It's usually on a cheaper cabinet. You're going to see that, but it suffices usually. Okay, I prefer this method here with the stretchers or the stringers that they call them. I think it's a stronger, better cabinet that way, but you will see cabinets like this. Sometimes you even see these in plastic or thin metal, and they're just nailed in so the cabinet stays together. All right, but this is something you should know, the basic difference between a face frame and a frameless cabinet. Okay, face frame, also referred to American style, frameless, referred to as European style. A couple more examples, excuse me, of the cabinet types of face frame and frameless. All right, we clearly see here we have a face frame that's going around the cabinet. This is a base cabinet. It's got the door, it's got the drawer, okay? But you see this face frame here, it's going all the way around, and the drawer and door goes on top of it. This frameless cabinet here, you can see the drawers and the door fronts. All this stuff completely covers the whole box. Okay, you don't see any kind of frame or any kind of gaps in between, what they call the reveal. There's no reveal on these cabinets. You completely cover up the box, wider drawer, wider doors. Okay, it's a more modern look. All right, this is more traditional American, kind of looks a little dated. Okay, this is more modern. All right, this is probably mostly what you're going to see at IKEA or most cabinet stores. You will just see both, and really the major difference is really just designs and style preferences among people. Okay, they're both good cabinets. Like I said, the one advantage to a frameless is it's slightly less materials, might be easier to use. I mean, a lot of arguments can be made for both of these, but they're both good cabinets. Okay, they're just different styles and different designs, really. So it's just giving consumers a lot of different style choices. Okay, all right, but that is face frame and frameless cabinet design. All right, some more door and drawer design styles. Now, when you do face frame and frameless cabinets, you've got lots of different choices. I mean, the choices are endless. You go to any store and you just see racks of different drawers and door styles, and you can go really crazy with this. I don't want to get into too much terminology here because there's so much with the drawers and door fronts, okay? But there's some basic stuff I want you to know. All right, so here we'll start on the left. This is the frameless cabinet like we just talked about. The drawer on the top and the door completely covers the box behind it. Okay, you're not going to see any of the face frame like you do on these other cabinets here. These three on the right are all face frame construction cabinets. You see the face frame in between the door and the drawer, goes all the way around. Okay, that's covering up the plywood cabinet base. Here on these guys, you see the hinges. Here you don't see the hinges. These are concealed hinges. These hinges you actually see here. Some people like that. I don't particularly like that, but you can get them hidden or you can get the hinges visible. Okay, but these are all face frame cabinet styles. All right, and if we look over here at the bottom, the menu keeps coming up. It's called a full overlay or a half overlay or an inset. So here's the difference. Okay, basically this is what I want you to know. An overlay means that this drawer front, this top drawer front, or this door down here, okay, is overlaying or laying on top of that face frame construction of the cabinet. It's sitting on top of it. Okay, you can kind of see that here. It's just covering up that face frame a little bit. And this one's called a full overlay. This is called a half overlay. Again, covering up the face frame. It's sitting on top of the face frame. All right, but there's more of a reveal, or there's more space here that you can see the actual face frame. Okay, it's a little less here on this left cabinet, a little more of the space here on the frame. Okay, so that's called a half overlay. But basically what I want you to notice there is that that door is sitting on top of the frame. Okay, the total difference here is this inset panel here. Okay, an inset panel or an inset door or drawer front is that this drawer is completely even or pushed into the face frame, and it's even with the face frame. It's not hanging out like these guys are over here. Okay, it's inset, it's inside of that face frame, and it's what they call flush. It's kind of like one big flat panel. Here you got, it's kind of bumpy because these drawers are kind of stuck out a little bit, the thickness of the wood sitting on top. This inset sits inside of that face frame. It sits nice and flat. It's my favorite style. I like to build cabinets like that. They're a little trickier to build, but they come out really nice. But this is the inset door style. This is what I want you to understand and recognize. Inset, these are overlay. All of these are face frame construction. Okay, these are just different design styles. All right, and then you have a frameless. A frameless pretty much is always an overlay. It's always a full overlay. You don't see any face frame. That's always a full overlay. These guys, you can play around with the design with the overlay here. Okay, same thing with the inset. The inset is here. There's different inset styles, but when you talk about inset cabinets to somebody who knows what they're talking about, they know exactly what you mean with an inset door. All right, so these are the door and drawer design styles. All right, a little more review here of that. You can see the overlay a little clearer here. This is the partial half overlay, okay? The drawer is on top of the face frame and it kind of sticks out or it's bumped out. The space in the middle is called the reveal, okay? We see this over here too as a full overlay, much fancier design on the cabinet doors and drawer fronts, all right? Really intricate, a lot of, extra design work here and stain work. These are more expensive cabinets. Okay, but you see the reveal is a little bit smaller here on the side. Okay, and that's a full overlay. Here's the inset. Okay, totally flush, or what we call flush or even with the face frame. Okay, it's not sticking out. It's totally even. All right, this is a flush inset. They call this a beaded inset because you have this extra detail here that goes around the inset door. It's really just a design style. There's no real function to it. It's just a way to make it look different or nicer or more fancy, more expensive. Okay, but these are two inset styles and these are two overlay styles. Okay, all face frame construction here. Right. Let's identify some of these cabinets. All right. So we look at this cabinet right here. What's the first thing we noticed? Take a look at it. What do you think? You want to, name it. All right. First thing we want to say, it's a wall cabinet. Okay. You know why? There's no toe kick at the bottom. All right. You got no toe kick at the bottom. You can pretty much say that's a wall cabinet. All right. Look at the bottom of that cabinet. No toe kick, no legs. All right. That's going to get hung up on a wall. We know that's a wall cabinet. All right. What else can we say about this cabinet? Well, it's really easy to see. Face frame construction. We see that face frame going all the way around and the door is on top of it. Okay, we see the face frame, we see the cabinet edge. All right, we know it's face frame construction. All right. One other thing we can say about this cabinet that we learned, door style. Okay, it's an overlay. In particular, this one's half overlay. You might not recognize that right away, but you should know that it is an overlay. Okay, you got the cabinet door overlay. It's on top of the face frame. It's bumped out from the face frame. All right, so we know that's overlay. All right. Next one, you take a look at this cabinet. What do you think it is? Okay. In particular, this one is a bathroom vanity. All right. You can it's a little cut off up top here, but there's a bathroom sink up here, countertop. You can tell tile floor. It could be a kitchen, but this one's a bathroom vanity. All right. So right away, we can say it's a base cabinet. Okay. It sits on the ground. It's a base cabinet. Okay. That's a pretty easy rule to remember. All right. There's no toe kick, but there is a space for your feet underneath. Okay. It's a little bit of a different style, but basically that functions as a toe kick when you raise it up like that. All right. So we know it's a base cabinet. All right. Take a look at it a little closer. What can we say about the frame construction or the type of cabinet construction? Well, we know it's face frame construction. All right. We see the face frame. All right. We see this face frame going all around. All right. It's very apparent, very obvious face frame construction on this cabinet. Okay. So what's the next thing we can say about this cabinet that we learned? All right. What can we say about the doors and the drawer fronts? We can say they're inset cabinet doors. Okay. They are not sitting on top of the face frame. They are pushed into the frame, flush and even. Okay. They are inside here, not on top. They are inset doors. Very clear cut case of an inset style door here in drawer front. All right. So that's that cabinet. All right, what do we have here? What can you say about this cabinet? Take a look at it. What do you think it is? All right. Well, one clue here, we see the refrigerator in the picture, but these cabinets are on the floor. All right. We know it's a base cabinet. It might be hard to see this toe kick down here, but you can see there's a space under the cabinet, okay, from the shadow, but it's on the floor. Okay, this is a base cabinet. Okay, we know that it's a base cabinet. All right, so it's a couple set of different base cabinets here, all put together. Okay, so we know they're base cabinets. All right, what can we say about the construction of the cabinets? Take a look at the construction. What kind of construction are we looking at? We're looking at a frameless. We're looking at European style cabinets, right? We don't see any face frame in between Okay, these drawers or door fronts. Okay, everything's completely covered. You see this side panel here, but I think this is a kitchen island, so you're going to see the side here that they cover it up and make it look nice. That's not really the cabinet box. Okay, we want to look at these doors here. No reveals, no face frames that we see. Everything's covered up, completely overlaid. So we know this is European style frameless cabinets. Okay. All right. So what else can we say about those doors? Full overlay. European style, you're always going to have that full overlay completely covering the edge of the cabinets. Right. It covers the boxes. That's part of the style. All right. So we know this is full overlay doors and drawers. All right, so not to beat a dead horse, so to speak, but let's see what you guys learned. Let's see if you can identify some cabinets. Identify this one. What can you say about the construction of this cabinet? What can you say about the type of cabinet this is? All right, so as far as cabinet type, it's a base cabinet. All right, that should be pretty simple. It's on the ground. Okay, you got the sink in there, you got the countertop on top, you got the toe kick down here. That one should be pretty easy to identify. All right, how is it constructed? It's frameless, right? We don't see any kind of face frame, no reveal in between these drawers and door fronts. Okay, they're all, right next to each other. Okay, that's a frameless European style cabinet. All right. So we're going to go move on to this next one here. I want you to look at it, think about what it is. What can you tell me about it? Okay, so construction of the cabinet, pretty obvious. Let's look at it. What do we got here? We got face frame construction. Okay, that's real obvious. We see our face frames, okay, all around the cabinet. It's a real nice cabinet. All right. What else can we say about this cabinet? It is a base cabinet. We see it's on the floor. Okay. It is a base cabinet. All right. We see a countertop up top here. All right. What else can we say about it? It's got inset drawers and door fronts. All right. We see these drawers are pushed into the cabinet face. They're not sitting on top. They fit completely in, nice and neat. They're flush. All right. Those are inset drawers and door fronts. Okay. Inset style. All right. Let's move on to the next one. All right, what can you say about this cabinet? Look at the construction. We got a wall cabinet. All right. We can tell this. It's not on the floor. There's no toe kick. Okay. That should be pretty obvious. It's just a straight box with some doors. Okay. It's a wall cabinet. All right. Face frame construction. It's not a great picture, but you can see the face frame going around the cabinet here, and the doors are sitting on top of it. Okay. So what else that tells us about that cabinet is that it's an overlay too, right? Overlay drawers on top of the overlay doors. Sorry, on top of these face frame cabinets. Okay. And these are a 1/2 inch overlay because this reveal is a little bit bigger. Okay. Don't expect you to notice that right away, but you should know that this is an overlay. Okay. Overlay door cabinet. All right. So that's your basic overview of cabinets. Hope you guys picked something up from that. We're going to keep moving on. We're going to see some more videos on how cabinets are made. And now you'll hopefully understand the vocabulary and start to recognize different types of cabinets. Hope to see you guys soon with the next video.